This video contains spoilers.
Hello everyone and welcome to Gallifrey Forever. Today we will be ranking every single Doctor Who Christmas special to date. So what do I class as a Christmas special? Well, that's any Doctor Who episode that airs on Christmas Day. This does not include New Year's Day specials such as like Resolution or the upcoming Revolution of the Daleks. And when you look at, say, the End of Time, I'll only be looking at the End of Time Part 1 as that aired on Christmas Day, and the End of Time Part 2 ended on New Year's Day, so I'll only be taking a look at Part 1. Altogether, there are 13 Doctor Who Christmas specials to rank. So what are we waiting for? Let's get into the video. So in number 13's place, the worst Christmas special, in my opinion anyway, is The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe. This episode is just boring. I do not like this episode at all. It's very cringy at times, the plot is not good, and to be honest, the only thing that I enjoyed about it was probably the beginning with Matt Smith, and that did not last long. After they went through that present, it just got boring, and yeah, I did not like that Christmas special. I really don't enjoy watching it, and as older now, I really just, when I go back to it, it's rubbish. That's what I'm saying. So that's why it's last place. Now in the number 12 space, I have put The Return of Dr. Mysterio. In my opinion, this episode is just meh. It's just absolutely meh. I mean, the idea is good, I suppose, but it was just executed really poorly. I mean, the acting was really bad in it, and it's just one that I never choose to go back and watch because I know I will be disappointed after I've watched it. So yeah, I'll put Return of Dr. Mysterio in number 12 spot. In next place, I have put Last Christmas. There isn't too much to like about this episode. I mean, the idea is alright, I suppose, even though the face thingies look like from Alien. However, the episode is entertaining, and I did quite like the old Clara bit at the end. That was quite good because it kind of mirrored what it was in Time of the Doctor with the old 11th Doctor, but now it's old Clara. And I think that should have been when Clara left. I think that would have been a perfect end to a Clara storyline, but she came back in season 9, but that isn't really on this video. In the number 10 spot, we have A Christmas Carol. What? Sure, you kind of either think you hate it or you love it, but for me, I think it's alright, but I'm probably a bit towards the hate side. Like The Doctor, the Widow and the Wardrobe, I loved the beginning with Matt Smith in. That was just amazing when he came down the chimney. Even the stuff with the spaceship with Amy and Rory on it was good as well. I like how this episode kind of deals with about time. I like how it plays with time. However, I don't like the idea of the shark sleigh thing. That is just pointless. Absolutely unneeded. I don't really like the whole fishy flying thing. I think that's this episode. Yep, it is this episode. It's just there's good elements and there's bad elements to it, so that's why it takes the number 10 spot. Next up is The Next Doctor. Now, this episode, half of it I like, half of it I don't like. I really like the idea of who is this other Doctor. I think that is a good idea to have. It kind of reminds me a bit of like New Roof Doctor, thinking about it. But I liked how it was, and it really got you questioning about the episode, really got you into the episode. However, I did not really like the idea, the plot line with the Cybermen. I think that was just not needed. It didn't need it to be the Cybermen. I didn't like that big Cyber King thing either. That was just pointless. So overall, the episode, half of it I love, half of it I don't really care for, so that's why I put it in the ninth spot. Next up, I have put The Time of the Doctor. Now, this episode, I loved the storyline of it. It's an amazing storyline. However, it was just slightly too rushed. Like I said, the ideas of it work well for a regeneration story, but it should have been over 2 parts, like the End of Time, probably. I feel like it was very go to this place, to this place, to this place, to this place, and it felt very, very rushed. Like I said before, I enjoyed this episode when I watch it. However, it would have been much better if it was spread across 2 parts. Next up, I have put another regeneration story. It's the 12th Doctor's regeneration story, and that is Twice Upon a Time. I really enjoyed the idea of the First Doctor and the 12th Doctor, obviously played by David Bradley, the First Doctor. But I like that idea. I also quite like the World War I soldier part of it. Bill did not have to return to it. I think it would have been better if Bill just stayed as we last saw her. But yeah, overall it was a good episode. I just think that the villains were a bit weak, and I just preferred other ones to this one, so that's why I put it here. Next up, I have put Voyage of the Damned. Now, I really enjoyed this Christmas special. I think the acting was very well done, very good in this episode. Even though some people don't think it's good, I don't really see why it is not good. I think the acting is good. I like the character of Banakafalata. He is a very good inclusion. Obviously, this is like your first time you see Wilf for the first time, which is also a bonus. But I don't really like the main bad guy person. You know, that person. I just find him a bit cringy to watch. And I do like the host angels though, so that is a positive. But yeah, so that's why I think Voyage of the Damned takes a spot. Next up, I've put a very controversial episode. I've put The Husbands of River Song. Now, I understand some people do not like this episode. Some people absolutely hate it. I love it. It's amazing. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think it's just a fun Christmas special to watch at Christmas. It's just one I always see myself returning to, because you don't even have to watch at Christmas. It's a very good episode all the way around. So yeah, I loved the ending as well. The ending was great. I just don't see any problems with this episode, apart from I think just the other ones are better. Now the next few are just amazing episodes. So yeah, in the next spot I have put The Snowmen. I really like this story. I much prefer Victorian Clara to the Clara we eventually got, the modern day Clara. I think I like the idea of her having to have her having like 2 different lives in the episode. I also feel like the villain, I think, is a great way to introduce like the Great Intelligence or whatever they call it. And I really like this episode. It's just such a shame Victoria and Clara had to die at the end. I think that's just a shame, because I would have loved to see that Clara more, because I think that had the most interesting Clara character out of all of them. So yeah, but if we're looking at after the episode, it's amazing. I love every single part of it. It's just perfect, and it's a great one to have after, obviously, Matt Smith losing Amy and Rory. So these last 3 episodes are all David Tennant episodes. There is no surprise there. But I have to give the 3rd spot to The End of Time Part 1. Personally, I think this is a very, very, very good episode. I love the guest companion of Wilfred in this episode, and I also quite like David Tennant having like the 10th Doctor having more like a darker side, maybe like not looking forward to his regeneration. And I like the inclusion of the Master, obviously, but however I think he was better in the season 3 finale. But overall I think The End of Time is a very good story, especially the first part. I preferred the second part to the first part, but the first part was also very well done indeed, so that is why I've put The End of Time Part 1 in number 3 category. And in number 2 spot, I've put the very first Doctor Who Christmas special, The Christmas Invasion. I kind of understand why people don't like this episode, because the 10th Doctor, played by David Tennant, he was not in this episode hardly at all. He was mainly asleep in the episode, and it was all left down to like Rose, Mickey and Jackie, which were an amazing trio. I would love to see them as like a trio again, because they worked excellent together. I like the Sycorax. The Sycorax are an amazing villain, well, if you call them that, and the inclusion of Harriet Jones is always really, really good. And at the end of the episode, when David Tennant wakes up, it just goes like from good to amazing. I think that sword fight at the end is just amazing, and the no second chances thing was very, very well paid off. And in my opinion, the best Doctor Who Christmas special of all time has to be The Runaway Bride. Now, I know this episode wasn't that popular when it came out, because they did not like the character of Donna Noble when it came out, but when I watched it knowing that Donna was a companion in season 4, so I actually quite enjoyed that aspect, because when I was watching it I knew she was in season 4, and I think it's a great starter of that companion. I know the sort of stuff like the robot Santas and the Christmas trees were reused from the Christmas Invasion, but it did really actually feel like a continuation from that episode, if you know what I mean. I think the car chase with the TARDIS flying after Donna, who's in the car, I think that was done so amazing, and it was probably one of the best Doctor Who action scenes ever. It was just executed so good, and it just looked great. I also really like the character of the Empress of Arachnos. I like the story with her as well, that was very, very good. I also like to see the darker part of the Doctor by drowning her children. That was very, very dark of him, and it very, very suited his Doctor now, as now he's lost Rose. So I think that really works for the 10th Doctor, and I just really like the episode as a whole. Now that brings us to the end of this video. Now I know this ranking video has been very, very controversial, and it'll probably be very, very controversial because you've got your own opinions and people prefer other episodes to others. So if you want to share your opinions, you can always go down below to the comment section and just type in, just tell me your top picks, your favourites. It was very, very interesting to know other people's opinions, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. It is free and it really helps me out. And that's it. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you in another video. Bye!